In today's video, I'm going to be talking about 10 things you need to buy that were added in the After Hours Nightclub DLC. Now, spoiler alert, with this video, there's not going to be any clothing that I've decided to add on this list. The reason why is the clothing isn't anything all that special. In fact, I think it was one of the weaker points of this update. Rockstar had the potential to do a lot of stuff with like glowing and neon and stuff like that, and I feel like they really didn't. The clothing is cool, but it's nothing you really have to buy, nor is any real item all that expensive. But today, we're going to be focusing on the 10 items that you need to buy from the After Hours update. Let's get it started. The number one spot today, this is going to be incredibly obvious, but the nightclubs. You can't really enjoy this update without purchasing a nightclub. Luckily for you, getting involved with them is not all that expensive. I mean, if you buy some of the upgrades, which we'll touch on a little bit later, it does get a little pricey. But if you don't have the nightclubs, basically the only thing this update has done for you so far is giving you a couple clothes and giving you like 4 usable vehicles. Because if you think about it, the Mule and the Pounder, they're like specifically made for the business. So if you don't have the business, then you can cross those vehicles off. So you've basically just been left with a bunch of clothing, the Jester Classic and the Ocelot Swinger, and then the Festival Bus, which you can't even customize, and the Mammoth Patriot Stretch, which can't drive down the road without hitting signs or other cars. So you pretty much have to buy a nightclub in order to enjoy this DLC. So I know that was obvious, but buying a nightclub, it's simple, straightforward, and unlocks so much content in this update. The number 2 spot today, I cannot believe I am saying this. If you had asked me this 3 months ago, I would have said, this never would have happened. The Jester Classic. The Jester Classic is awesome now. So Rockstar finally added this vehicle into the game with a ton of changes. Number 1, they made it a sports class vehicle. Number 2, they added a lot of new upgrades and modifications like spoilers, bumpers, new liveries, new exhaust, a completely new design. And number 3, they fixed all the bugs, all the things that were wrong with the original version in Southern San Andreas Super Autos. Now, from what I've seen so far, the vehicle itself is still not like a great sports car, especially when you compare it to like the king of sports cars, the Pariah. But at the end of the day, I really don't think that's what this vehicle's about. It's an iconic pop culture vehicle based off of the Toyota Supra that's been featured in movies, films, TV shows, other video games, most notably in Fast and Furious. So a lot of people recognize this car. It has a lot of little Easter eggs in there as well. So I just think it's a fantastic vehicle. It's going to be one that stays in my garage because I'm a huge fan of the Fast and Furious franchise, and I just think it's a really fun car to ultimately drive around. So number 2 on the list today, the Jester Classic. Number 3, that is the Terabyte. So we are going to be including drip feed content in this video. The Terabyte is going to be released in the upcoming weeks and months. The Terabyte is going to allow you to launch sourcing missions for all of your businesses from wherever you are on the map. And what this means essentially is that a big chunk of the whole consolidation aspect of the After Hours update is being held until this vehicle is released. So this is a hugely successful vehicle. It's basically going to be the successor to the Mobile Operations Center. And building off of that, at the number 4 spot today, one other thing you're going to want to get when this vehicle comes out, and something that's brand new to Grand Theft Auto Online, is the drone station. That's right, the Terabyte introduces battle and quad drones. How cool is that? So there's no other way to get drones in this game unless you own the Terabyte. So you've got to buy that as well. The reason I'm making it its own separate category is the drone upgrade is like $800-something thousand. Like, it's really expensive. So it's almost like the price of the original cost of the Terabyte itself. And because we've never seen drones before in the game, this is something that's pretty awesome. So that's why it's at the number 4 spot today. Another feature of the Terabyte that's also getting its own spot today at the number 5 is the specialized workshop that comes along with the Terabyte. Now, the reason you're going to have to buy this is because it's the only workshop in the game that is quote-unquote high-tech enough and low-profile enough to customize and store the Pegasi Oppressor Mark II. So we're going to talk about this vehicle in a little bit, But this $500,000 add-on, another reason why I'm making it its own separate category is because it is so expensive, is because it's the only way to modify the Pegasi Oppressor Mark II. Without it, you can't even buy that vehicle, so it makes it incredibly important to have. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to modify probably one of the better new vehicles coming out in this update. Speaking of that, at the number 6 spot, we've got the Pegasi Oppressor Mark II. Now, this vehicle has certainly caused a lot of controversy. I'm not the biggest fan of Rockstar adding another vehicle like that into the game. I personally believe that free mode has almost been ruined to a degree in which Rockstar can't backtrack. I mean, with all the weaponized vehicles and flying cars and whatnot, it's like this game is completely different. It's like it's in another universe. The Oppressor Mark II has the Deluxo-like hovering ability. It has lock-on missiles. It has machine guns that can fire. This thing is basically just a better version of the Oppressor. It has a rocket thruster on the back. How could I forget that? So at the end of the day, this is going to be a vehicle that you're going to need to almost fight fire with fire. If you don't have an Oppressor Mark II, you're almost missing out here. I don't use weaponized vehicles a lot, but I feel like I have to have them just as sort of a defense mechanism for if someone else happens to own one and I need to fight back. Now, you can get this for a little bit cheaper. In order to do that, you must own a terabyte and you must complete 5 client jobs as a VIP CEO or MC president. The client jobs are the things you do inside of the terabyte, sort of like the consolidation missions. So that's going to be another vehicle that I think will ultimately be a must-buy, the Oppressor Mark II. The number 7 spot today, we've got the B11 Strike Force. So the B11 Strike Force is the only plane that was added in this update, but I feel like this is going to be a direct competitor to the Hydra, the Rogue, the Molotov, the Laser. This is going to be a crazy powerful jet. I mean, we've already really seen what it's capable of. It has explosive cannons, homing missiles, barrage rockets, bombs. It has Smuggler's Run style upgrades and countermeasures. So this thing is going to be an absolute beast. And like I said, a lot of people are going to get this when it comes out. They're going to use this. It's going to be very powerful. And it's another one of those examples where you almost sort of have to fight fire with fire here. The big question is this going to become the most powerful jet in the game? It certainly has a lot of competition with all the Smuggler's Run vehicles and the Hydra and the Laser of old. But this is going to be one of those vehicles that you'd rather own rather than not have one, just in case it is super powerful and you need to be able to combat something like this. You're going to want a really powerful vehicle like the B11 Strike Force. The number 8 spot today, the Declasse Scramjet. So not only is this based off of a really cool car, the Street Racer Mach 5, but the Scramjet is going to be one of those vehicles that I think is going to be a direct competitor to the land weaponized vehicles. So I'm talking about the Deluxo, and I'm talking about the Ruiner 2000 and the Vigilante. It's a vehicle that goes into that category because it's a supercar. It's got missiles on there. It's got boost. It's got a jump ability that it has as well. It's got a lot of really cool customization too, like liveries and whatnot. It's a topless, completely convertible supercar, which we've never really seen in the game before. So it's got a lot of cool features, and I certainly like it. But you're going to need this car to compete with the Vigilante, with all those other ones, because it's going to go in that category. Now, if you want to purchase this vehicle for a little cheaper, because it is the most expensive car of this update, all you have to do is play and win the Hunting Pack Remix adversary mode, which is an adversary mode that I would imagine will be added over the next couple weeks or months. And whenever that adversary mode comes out, this vehicle will be released with it as well. So that's the Scramjet, another vehicle you're likely going to need just to be able to compete with all the other weaponized vehicles. Let's move on. At the number 9 spot today, we're going to step away from vehicles. That is the Nightclub Upgrades. So the equipment upgrade, staff upgrade, and security upgrade. So all 3 of these are vastly important. I know they are expensive and they cut into your initial cost, but the equipment upgrade, making supply twice as fast, that's eventually going to pay for itself in no time, keeping your popularity up. That's very important. It allows you to have features within the nightclub. It's also going to make you more money. That will eventually pay for itself. And the security upgrade, that's important to stop raids from happening. that will pay for itself as well when you ultimately don't have to deal with raids happening to your businesses. So I know they seem expensive up front, but upgrading all 3 of those nightclub features is something that is very, very important. It's something you don't want to go a long time without doing, especially if you have the money to do so. And at the number 10 spot today, the final thing I would recommend you buy in this update is at least 1 garage floor extra in your nightclub. So it's a little misleading. Rockstar gives you 1 floor automatically, but that 1 floor is reserved for the Speedo, Mule, and Pounder custom. You can't really store normal cars in there. So it's nice to have 1 extra floor to be able to store your other vehicles. And sort of an honorable mention that I want to throw into the ring today, that would either be the Mule or the Pounder custom. So the reason I'm giving this the honorable mention is because you get the Speedo custom for free, which is a very capable vehicle of delivering lots of valued items in the nightclub. I wouldn't recommend buying both. Decide on the Mule or the Pounder. Honestly, I think I would go with the Mule. The Pounder is only used for incredibly large sales, and I would just do medium amounts if you're in that big of a pinch for cash. But anyways, that right there is the top 10 things that I recommend you buy from the After Hours Nightclub DLC. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Do you have any other suggestions that you would like to throw into our list today? If you do, let us know in the comments down below, or you can reach out to me on Twitter. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you'd like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.